What if you could actually reverse insulin resistance, not with deprivation or crazy diets, but by giving your body what it's been needing all along? Most people think insulin resistance is just about eating too much sugar or not exercising enough, but it's much deeper than that. It's about how your body responds to stress, sleep, movement, and the order in which you eat your food. When insulin resistance sets in, your cells stop listening to insulin's signal, kind of like when someone keeps talking, but you've heard it so many times, you tune it out. So your body releases even more insulin to get the same job done, and that high insulin locks fat inside your cells. You might eat less, move more, and still not lose a single pound. Sound familiar? But here's the good news. Your body wants to heal. Insulin sensitivity can actually improve quickly when you give it the right signals, and those signals have nothing to do with starving yourself or skipping meals. In this video, we'll explore a simple science-backed strategy to help your body restore insulin balance in just 30 days. You'll learn how something as simple as walking after dinner can lower blood sugar better than some medications. You'll discover how eating your meals in the right order, vegetables first, protein next, carbs last, can flatten glucose spikes by nearly 70%. And we'll look at how stress hormones and inflammation quietly sabotage your fat burning, even if your diet is perfect. So if you've been stuck with stubborn belly fat or constant cravings, you're not broken, your body is just trying to protect you. And with a few small, consistent changes, you can teach it how to burn fat again naturally. I'd love to hear what's been your biggest struggle when it comes to balancing blood sugar or losing belly fat. Share in the comments below. Most people think insulin resistance is just about too much sugar, but that's only the surface. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas, and its main job is to help move glucose, your body's main fuel, out of the bloodstream and into your cells, where it can be used for energy. When everything's working well, your blood sugar stays balanced and your energy feels stable throughout the day. But when insulin resistance develops, your cells stop responding properly to insulin's signal. Imagine someone knocking at your door repeatedly. At first, you open the door every time, but if they keep knocking all day, every day, eventually you tune it out. That's exactly what happens with your cells. They stop hearing insulin's knock. So your body, trying to help, makes even more insulin to push that glucose into the cells. The problem is chronically high insulin changes everything. High insulin tells your body, store fat now, burn it later. It's like flipping a switch that locks your fat cells shut. Even if you eat less or exercise more, your body can't easily access that stored energy. Instead, it keeps you hungry and tired because it believes you're in a state of scarcity. This is why people often say, "I'm doing everything right, but the belly fat just won't go." It's not about willpower, it's about hormones. Over time, this high insulin environment traps fat around your belly and organs, what we call visceral fat . And this kind of fat is especially dangerous because it's not just sitting there, it's metabolically active. It releases inflammatory chemicals called cytokines that make your cells even more insulin resistant. It's a vicious loop. More belly fat means more inflammation, which means more insulin resistance, which then means more belly fat. This internal storm doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your energy, mood, and focus. When your body can't move glucose efficiently into cells, you experience energy crashes. You might feel a short burst of energy after eating, followed by that familiar mid-afternoon slump. Your brain, which runs on glucose, gets foggy. You crave more sugar or caffeine just to feel normal again. But every time you reach for something sweet, insulin spikes again, and the cycle continues. Now, what's really frustrating for a lot of people is that they're doing what they think they should, eating less, cutting carbs, or working out harder. But the body doesn't interpret these efforts as helpful. It often interprets them as stress. Asterisk and stress hormones like cortisol make insulin resistance worse. So when you're restricting calories or pushing your body too hard, you might be increasing the very thing you're trying to fix. There's also a timing factor. If you snack constantly or eat late at night, insulin levels never get a break. Your body stays in storage mode 24/7. On the other hand, if you learn to let insulin come down between meals, by spacing them out or walking after you eat, you allow your body to finally access stored fat for fuel. Think of insulin as the gatekeeper of your fat stores. When insulin is high, the gate is locked. When insulin drops, the gate opens and your body can burn fat for energy. That's why some people can eat the same number of calories but get very different results depending on their insulin response. Another layer to this story is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often from processed foods, poor sleep, or even emotional stress, damages the insulin receptors on your cells. It's like static in the communication line. The pancreas sends insulin's signal, but the cells can't receive it clearly. So the body shouts louder with more insulin, creating that constant high insulin state. What's incredible, though, is how reversible this is. When you calm inflammation and help your body become more insulin sensitive again, the belly fat starts to release almost effortlessly. Energy comes back, cravings calm down, and your metabolism starts to feel unlocked. You don't have to go to extremes to do this. You just have to start sending your body the opposite signal: safety instead of stress, nourishment instead of restriction. When your body feels safe, it starts to listen again. That's the foundation we'll build on, understanding that insulin resistance isn't a moral failure or a lack of discipline. It's your body doing its best to protect you in a stressful environment. And once you understand that, you can begin to work asterisk with asterisk your biology instead of against it. When people hit a wall with their weight or energy, the most common advice they hear is to eat less, fast longer, or cut out entire food groups. And on the surface, that seems logical. If you're eating less, you should lose fat. But the human body isn't a calculator. It's a complex, adaptive system that's designed to survive, not just to burn calories. When you push it too hard with extreme dieting or long fasts, it interprets that restriction as a threat. And instead of burning more fat, it starts conserving energy, raising stress hormones, and holding on to every bit of stored fuel it can. Here's what actually happens behind the scenes. When you dramatically reduce calories or go long periods without eating, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, the main stress hormones. At first, these can help release stored glucose and fat for energy, which feels great for a few days. You might feel sharper or even lose some water weight quickly. But if that stress signal keeps repeating, cortisol stays high. Chronically high cortisol pushes your blood sugar up, which pushes insulin up, and that combination tells your body, store energy, don't burn it. Over time, this creates a paradox. You might be eating less and moving more, but your body's metabolism is slowing down to protect itself. Your thyroid lowers output, your muscles conserve energy, and your hunger hormones start to misfire. You become hungrier, more fatigued, and less motivated. Meanwhile, insulin sensitivity worsens because high cortisol directly interferes with how your cells respond to insulin. So the harder you push, the more resistant your body becomes. This is why people who go on extreme low carb or fasting regimens often experience early success followed by a frustrating plateau. Initially, insulin levels drop and you may lose some fat. But if you keep pushing into deep restriction, your body starts to adapt. It begins to prioritize survival over fat loss. Metabolism slows down and even mild stress feels amplified. You might start losing sleep, craving carbs, or feeling foggy and irritable. That's not weakness. That's your nervous system saying, we can't keep doing this. When insulin resistance is already present, these extreme approaches can actually make things worse, because the root issue isn't just blood sugar, it's how your cells are communicating. When you deprive your body of consistent nourishment, you're essentially adding more noise to that broken communication line. The cells become more stressed, inflammation rises, and the body clings even tighter to visceral fat, especially around the belly. This is the body's emergency fuel tank. It doesn't want to let it go while under perceived threat. Think of it like this. Your metabolism isn't a fire you can just turn up by throwing less fuel on it. It's more like a campfire that needs steady, gentle oxygen and the right balance of fuel to keep burning. If you smother it or starve it of fuel, it burns out. But if you feed it consistently and let it breathe, it thrives. What works far better long term is teaching your body that it's safe to burn fat. That means reducing chronic stress instead of adding more of it through deprivation. Balanced, nutrient-dense meals that keep blood sugar steady actually lower cortisol, which in turn improves insulin sensitivity. When insulin and cortisol both stabilize, the body naturally transitions out of storage mode. Fat starts to unlock more easily, not because you're forcing it, but because your body feels safe enough to release it. Short periods of fasting or carb reduction can still have a place when used strategically, but only when your foundation is strong. If your sleep, stress management, and meal quality aren't stable, those tactics become stress multipliers instead of fat burning tools. For someone already insulin resistant, extreme fasting is like slamming on the gas when the engine is already overheated. It might move for a while, but it won't last. When you instead focus on consistency, eating in a way that balances glucose, supporting your stress response, and giving your body time to heal, you build metabolic flexibility. That's when your body can easily switch between burning carbs and fat without anxiety, cravings, or energy crashes. You no longer need to punish your body into submission. You're partnering with it. So rather than trying to outsmart biology, the goal is to restore communication with it. The more your body feels nourished and calm, the more it trusts that it can let go of stored energy. And that's how lasting fat loss happens, not by deprivation, but by building safety and stability from the inside out. When people hear the phrase reverse insulin resistance, it can sound almost too good to be true, like some kind of miracle claim. But biologically, it's completely possible because insulin resistance isn't permanent damage. It's an adaptive response that your body can unlearn. Your cells are constantly communicating with your hormones, and when you start sending them the right messages, they remember how to respond again. That's what improving insulin sensitivity really means: restoring clear communication between your cells and your hormones so energy can flow the way it's supposed to. The process starts with blood sugar stability. Every time you eat, especially when your meal is high in refined carbs or sugars, your blood glucose rises sharply. Insulin's job is to bring that sugar down by moving glucose into your cells. But if this cycle happens too often with constant snacking, sweet drinks, or big heavy meals, insulin stays elevated for hours. Over time, your cells start tuning it out. The key to reversing that is to reduce the frequency and intensity of those spikes. When you eat in a way that keeps blood sugar steady by balancing fiber, protein, and healthy fats, insulin doesn't need to surge. It rises gently, does its job, and then returns to baseline. That return to baseline period is when your body can finally access stored fat for energy. Think of it as flipping from storage mode to burn mode. You can't burn fat when insulin is constantly high, so every meal that keeps your blood sugar smooth is a signal to your body it's safe to release stored energy again. Meal composition matters, but so does meal order. Asterisk research shows that eating vegetables first, then protein, then carbs can flatten blood sugar spikes by as much as 70%. That's because fiber and protein slow the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. It's a small shift, but over days and weeks, it completely changes how your body manages insulin. The result is fewer crashes, less hunger, and a steady supply of energy instead of roller coaster highs and lows. Movement is another major signal for insulin sensitivity. Every time your muscles contract, they act like sponges. They soak up glucose from your bloodstream without even needing insulin's help. This means that even light movement, like walking after a meal, lowers blood sugar levels in real time. Over time, consistent movement retrains your cells to respond better to insulin. This is why people who walk regularly or build a little muscle tone tend to have far more metabolic flexibility. Their bodies can switch between burning sugar and fat easily. The good news is, this doesn't require intense workouts. In fact, too much high-intensity exercise can spike cortisol and temporarily raise blood sugar. What your body needs most is consistency. A 10-15-minute walk after meals, a few strength sessions per week, and simply moving more throughout your day can be enough to shift your metabolism back into balance. It's not about how hard you push, it's about how consistently you move. Another piece of this puzzle is inflammation. When your body is inflamed, whether from processed foods, poor sleep, or chronic stress, insulin signaling gets disrupted. It's like trying to talk on a phone line full of static. Reducing inflammation through whole foods, hydration, omega-3 fats, and adequate sleep helps restore that clear communication. And when inflammation goes down, insulin sensitivity rises naturally. Sleep is more powerful here than most people realize. Just one night of poor sleep can raise insulin resistance by up to 30% the next day. That's because sleep is when your body resets its hormones. Cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, and insulin all recalibrate overnight. So if you're trying to improve insulin sensitivity, prioritizing deep, restorative sleep is just as important as what's on your plate. Stress management plays an equally big role. Chronic stress keeps cortisol high, and cortisol competes with insulin. When cortisol is constantly elevated, your liver releases more glucose into your bloodstream even when you're not eating. This creates high blood sugar and high insulin, which pushes the body back into storage mode. Calming your stress response through breathing exercises, mindfulness, time in nature, or simply slowing down can reset that hormonal tug-of-war. When you combine all these pieces, balanced meals, smart movement, good sleep, and lower stress, your body starts remembering how to use fuel efficiently again. You'll notice hunger signals normalize, cravings fade, and your energy feels steady. This is the body's natural rhythm returning. Fat loss becomes a byproduct, not the focus. Your metabolism isn't broken, it's just confused. It's been receiving mixed messages: stress, deprivation, erratic eating, and it's been trying to protect you the best way it knows how. By giving it consistency, balance, and safety, you teach it how to burn fat again, naturally and sustainably. Over time, this new equilibrium becomes your baseline, and insulin resistance begins to unwind not through extremes, but through everyday habits that honor how your body was designed to function. Most people think that what you eat matters more than how you eat it, but the truth is, the asterisk order asterisk in which you eat your food can dramatically change how your body responds to that meal. It's one of those subtle shifts that doesn't require restriction or cutting out foods, just reordering them. And this single habit has been shown in research to flatten glucose spikes by up to 70%, lower insulin response, and even reduce cravings for hours after eating. Here's how it works. When you start a meal with fiber-rich vegetables, you're giving your digestive system a head start in slowing down glucose absorption. The fiber in vegetables forms a kind of protective mesh in your small intestine, almost like a filter. It slows the rate at which glucose from the rest of your meal enters your bloodstream. So instead of a sharp glucose spike followed by a crash, you get a slow, steady rise and fall. That means less insulin is needed and your body stays in balance. After vegetables, the next best thing to eat is your protein. Protein not only helps build muscle and repair tissues, but it also triggers hormones that signal fullness like peptide Y, and GLP-1. These hormones tell your brain, I'm satisfied. So by the time you reach the carb portion of your meal, you naturally want less of it. Eating protein second also further slows digestion, reinforcing that smooth glucose curve. Then, finally, you eat your carbohydrates, the rice, potatoes, fruit, or bread. By this point, your blood sugar rise is much gentler and the insulin response is smaller. The carbohydrates still provide energy, but without sending your body into fat storage mode. The difference isn't just theoretical, it's measurable. In one study, people who ate their food in this order had significantly lower blood sugar and insulin levels after meals, even when eating the exact same ingredients in a different sequence. This strategy works because it honors how your digestive system processes different nutrients. Carbohydrates digest quickly and flood the bloodstream with glucose, but when fiber and protein are already present, they act as natural speed bumps. The glucose trickles in more slowly, allowing insulin to keep up without overreacting. That smaller insulin response means your body can return to fat burning mode sooner after eating. Another key benefit of this order is that it stabilizes energy. When glucose spikes and crashes, you feel it those mid-morning or mid-afternoon slumps, brain fog, and sudden cravings for something sweet. By managing your blood sugar through food order, your energy stays steady. You feel focused, calm, and satisfied instead of chasing your next fix. Over time, that steadiness also helps retrain your hunger cues. You begin to eat because you're truly hungry, not because your blood sugar crashed. The best part is that this approach works with almost any eating style, whether you eat Mediterranean, plant-based, or something in between. You don't have to cut out your favorite foods, you just rearrange them. Start each meal with a handful of fiber-rich veggies, even a small salad. Some cooked greens or cucumber slices will do. Then move to your protein fish, chicken, eggs, lentils, tofu, and finish with your starches or fruit. You can also use this strategy with snacks. If you're going to have fruit, try pairing it with a small handful of nuts or a little yogurt first. That combination of fat and protein slows digestion, reducing how quickly sugar hits your bloodstream. It's a simple tweak that turns a blood sugar spiking snack into a balanced one. There's also a timing benefit. Taking a short walk after a meal, even just 10 minutes, can further reduce post-meal glucose levels. Muscles use up glucose for energy, lowering blood sugar without needing extra insulin. So, pairing food order with light movement becomes a powerful 1-2 combination for restoring insulin sensitivity. Over time, practicing this consistently teaches your body a new pattern, one where glucose and insulin flow smoothly. Hunger feels predictable and energy stays balanced. You may start noticing that your cravings for sugar or carbs fade naturally without willpower. That's because your blood sugar is already stable and your brain isn't asking for an emergency fix. This isn't about being perfect or counting grams. It's about creating a rhythm that works with your biology instead of against it. When you nourish your body in this sequence, vegetables first, protein second, carbs last, you're essentially communicating safety to your metabolism. You're saying, we have plenty of energy, no need to panic. And when your body feels safe, it stops holding onto fat for protection. The real power of food order isn't in restriction, it's in communication. You're teaching your body to handle food in a gentler, more balanced way. Over time, those smoother glucose curves translate into more energy, better mood, fewer cravings, and a metabolism that feels stable again, all without cutting out the foods you love. When most people think about fixing insulin resistance, they focus entirely on diet, what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. But what's often overlooked are the lifestyle signals your body receives every single day. The truth is, your metabolism listens just as closely to how you move, how you sleep, and how you handle stress as it does to what's on your plate. These three factors, movement, sleep, and stress regulation, act like invisible levers that can either raise or lower insulin sensitivity. And when you align them in your favor, your body starts to shift out of storage mode and back into balance within just a few weeks. Let's start with movement. Most people think they need intense workouts to burn fat, but that's not how insulin sensitivity works. It's actually the gentle, consistent movement that makes the biggest difference. When you move your muscles, even through something as simple as walking, stretching, or light strength training your muscle, cells start pulling glucose out of your bloodstream without needing insulin's help. It's like giving insulin a break. This effect can last for hours after a single session, and when done consistently, it retrains your cells to respond better to insulin over time. Even a 10-minute walk after meals can lower blood sugar by 20–30%. That's because post-meal movement helps your body use up the glucose from your food right away instead of letting it linger in your bloodstream. Think of your muscles as glucose sponges. The more you move, the more they soak up, and the more your metabolism stays flexible. You don't need perfection. You just need consistency. Gentle movement throughout the day tells your body energy is flowing, we're safe, and that signal alone reduces the hormonal stress that keeps insulin high. Sleep is another powerful yet underestimated factor. One night of poor sleep can spike insulin resistance by up to 30% the next day. That's because sleep is when your body resets its hormones. Cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, and insulin all recalibrate during deep rest. When you cut that short, your stress hormones stay elevated, your hunger hormones get confused, and your cells stop responding properly to insulin. You might notice that after a short night of sleep, you crave sugar, feel hungrier, and have less energy to move, all because your body is trying to compensate for lost rest. Good sleep hygiene doesn't have to be complicated. Start by creating a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Avoid bright screens an hour before bed so your brain can start producing melatonin naturally. Keep your room cool and dark and aim for 7–9 hours of deep, uninterrupted sleep. These simple habits lower cortisol, stabilize blood sugar, and improve your body's ability to switch between burning carbs and fat smoothly, what we call metabolic flexibility. Then there's stress, the most silent but powerful insulin disruptor. When your body perceives stress, whether it's from emotional strain, overworking, or even constant multitasking, it releases cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to mobilize energy in case you need to fight or flee. They tell your liver to release glucose into your bloodstream, but when that energy isn't used up physically, blood sugar rises unnecessarily. Insulin rises in response, and over time, your cells become less sensitive to it. This is why people under chronic stress often gain belly fat, even if their diet hasn't changed. Learning to regulate your stress response helps break that cycle. You can't eliminate stress, but you can change how your body experiences it. Simple techniques like slow, deep breathing, journaling, gratitude practice, or even short mindfulness breaks throughout the day can signal to your nervous system that you're safe. When your parasympathetic or rest and digest system turns on, cortisol drops, and when cortisol drops, insulin naturally follows. Time in nature, laughter, meaningful connection, these aren't luxuries. They're tools for hormone balance. Your body can't distinguish between emotional and physical threats. Stress is stress. So creating small pockets of calm throughout your day is just as healing as a perfect meal plan. What ties all of this together is rhythm. Your body thrives on predictable patterns, steady meals, regular movement, consistent sleep, and periods of calm. Each of these tells your body it's safe to release stored energy. When that sense of safety returns, your metabolism becomes flexible again. You start waking up with more energy, your hunger cues feel normal, and you stop craving sugar for quick relief. Within weeks of combining gentle daily movement, better sleep hygiene, and mindful stress regulation, you begin to notice subtle shifts, flatter glucose curves, improved mood, and a feeling of lightness that goes beyond weight. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. When your body feels balanced and calm, insulin naturally follows suit, and the fat burning process that once felt impossible starts to happen almost effortlessly. Reversing insulin resistance doesn't require a strict diet, extreme fasting, or endless exercise sessions. What it really takes is consistency, small, steady actions that send your body the message that it's safe to let go of stored energy. A 30-day insulin reset is about building a rhythm your metabolism can trust. You're not forcing change, you're creating conditions where healing happens naturally. When you combine mindful eating, gentle movement, good sleep, and self-awareness, you create an environment where your hormones begin to work for you instead of against you. The first piece is mindful eating. This doesn't mean counting calories or cutting out everything you enjoy. It means tuning into how you eat. Start each meal with fiber-rich vegetables, move to protein, and finish with carbohydrates. This simple food order flattens glucose spikes and keeps insulin steady. Slow down while eating, take a few breaths before your first bite. Chew thoroughly and pause halfway through your meal to check in with your body. Are you satisfied or still hungry? Eating this way not only improves digestion, but also allows your brain time to register fullness, preventing overeating without effort. In your 30-day plan, aim for 3 balanced meals per day and reduce constant snacking. Let insulin come down between meals so your body can access stored fat for energy. If you feel hungry between meals, check whether it's true hunger or a blood sugar dip caused by stress, fatigue, or dehydration. A small adjustment like drinking water or taking a short walk can often rebalance you better than a snack. Next comes daily movement. You don't have to do intense workouts. Your body actually prefers consistency over intensity when healing insulin resistance. The most effective exercise is often the simplest, walking. Try a 10-15-minute walk after each meal. Those few minutes of movement signal your muscles to absorb glucose, lowering insulin in real time. Add a few short strength sessions during the week. Squats, push-ups, or light weights are enough. Building a little muscle helps increase your insulin sensitivity long-term because muscles act like glucose reservoirs. You can think of movement not as burning calories, but as improving communication between your cells and your hormones. Every time you move, you're reminding your body how to use energy efficiently again. And when you stay consistent, that efficiency becomes your new normal. Recovery is just as essential as action. Sleep is the silent pillar of insulin balance. Set a regular bedtime and aim for 7-9 hours of uninterrupted rest. Keep screens off an hour before bed, lower the lights, and create a short peace. Sleep ritual like journaling, stretching, or deep breathing. Sleep is when your body recalibrates insulin, cortisol, and hunger hormones. Missing that reset even a few nights a week can make fat loss feel impossible. Stress management weaves through everything. Chronic stress keeps your body in storage mode by keeping cortisol high. Your goal in this 30-day reset isn't to eliminate stress, it's to build resilience. Start small, take 3 deep breaths before meals, spend time outside daily, or use short mindfulness breaks during the day. Those moments of calm send your body the signal that it's safe to relax and release. Remember, your body only burns fat when it feels safe. To keep your reset sustainable, build structure without rigidity. You might start your day with hydration, a glass of water with lemon or minerals, followed by a protein-rich breakfast. Take short movement breaks throughout your workday to keep blood sugar steady. Plan your meals with a balance of vegetables, protein, and slow carbs, and finish dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Add a short evening walk or stretch to close the day calmly. Self-awareness is what makes this plan truly sustainable. Pay attention to how your body feels, not just your weight or numbers. Notice your energy, mood, and sleep quality. When you feel more stable, less bloated, and less reactive to stress, those are signs your insulin sensitivity is improving. Progress isn't always visible right away, but these small internal shifts are proof that your metabolism is healing. By the end of 30 days, you'll likely notice that your cravings have quieted, your energy is steadier, and your mood feels lighter. You may also see a difference around your waistline, not because you forced it, but because your body started to trust you again. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't end after 30 days. These habits become the foundation of a lifestyle where your blood sugar, hormones, and metabolism stay balanced naturally. The real success of an insulin reset isn't measured by how fast you lose fat, it's by how calm, steady, and energized your body feels day after day. When you nourish yourself with balance, move with intention, rest deeply, and live with awareness, your body responds in kind. It remembers how to burn fat efficiently, how to regulate energy smoothly, and how to stay healthy without effort. The goal isn't perfection, it's creating a way of living that supports healing one day at a time.